Hello again, my name's Gabe Zollner. Just read an interesting article. I'll provide you with what it contained. You know, I'm not a big fan of the CIA, and I think that, well, you know what I think about the CIA if you've been viewing me. Title, Pushback, CIA, Drug Pushers, exclamation mark. The Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, has been the subject of conspiracy theories ever since they coined the term in the early 1860s. One strong accusation against the, quote, company, and the quote, is pushing drugs. Books written with recent research have been compelling enough to warrant federal investigations, including hearings and reports by the United States House of Representatives, Senate, Department of Justice, and the CIA's Office of the Inspector General. The average person undoubtedly recoils at the notion that one of the nation's top security organizations would be involved in an activity as sordid, antisocial, and criminal as manufacturing, transporting, and selling illegal narcotics. Since the CIA admitted, based on its own internal hearings, there's that old fox guarding the henhouse again. This time, the fox is the CIA, and the henhouse is the truth. That small amounts of opium were smuggled out of Laos on contract aircraft between 1961 and 1975. Just how small is small, we the people may never know. The CIA was founded in 1947. 15 years later, their illegal drug trade activities were noticeable enough to draw attention. That was just the beginning. However, a public revelation about how rotten the CIA really is. The Mena Intermountain Municipal Airport in Arkansas has been the subject of several local, state, and federal investigations into its use as a CIA drop point since the early 1800s. In large-scale cocaine trafficking, just how large is large? Wikipedia mentions these drugs trafficking allegations against the CIA. I'm going to have to do another video on that. Early in the 1980s, investigators accused the CIA of aiding and abetting known Honduran drug lord Juan Mata Ballesteros and his Cetco airline. In 1986, the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations Subcommittee on Terrorism, Narcotics, and International Operations, chaired by Senator John Kerry, what a piece of work he is, huh? Looked into CIA drug trafficking in Central and South America. The Kerry Committee report said, quote, "It is clear that individuals who provided support for the Contras were involved in drug trafficking. The supply network of the Contras was used by drug trafficking organizations and elements of the Contras themselves, knowingly received financial and material assistance from drug traffickers." 1992. To protect its own illicit interests, the CIA had blocked the 1971 DEA Drug Enforcement Agency indictment against General Manuel Noriega, head of the government of Panama and a known drug czar. However, documents incriminating the CIA's illegal activities in Latin America were discovered aboard a plane flown by a CIA pilot, Eugene Hasenfus, after the Sandinistas shot him down over in Nicaragua in 1986. Now deemed a liability by and to the CIA, Noriega stood trial in Miami, Florida, and was sentenced to 40 years in prison, served 14. His sentence was reduced for good behavior. He died at 83 on May 29, 2017. 1993. The public became aware of a failed CIA anti-drug operation in Venezuela. Over DEA objections, the Venezuelan anti-drug unit working with the CIA smuggled a ton or more of cocaine seized in Venezuela into the United States and sold it on the streets. The CIA officer in charge of this criminal operation resigned, and his supervisor was transferred. The boss is never accountable, it seems. Fox Henhouse. 2013, two former federal agents and an ex-CIA contractor said the CIA worked with Mexican cocaine and marijuana dealers to transport illegal drugs into the U.S. The CIA used their part of the revenue to finance the Nicaraguan Contra rebels in their attempted coup of Sandinistas' government. A CIA spokesman denied the accusations, terminating them ridiculous. Remember, the CIA creed: deny, ridicule, distract, and disinform. With ultimate secret funding, why would the CIA need to engage in any illegal activities to generate income? Perhaps the old moniker that the more you make, the more you spend is true, and the CIA is hooked on huge sums of money. Or perhaps their agenda is more unsavory. Could their purpose be to create and maintain a minority segment of the population that remains trapped in a cycle of drug addiction? How many times have you heard me say that? Whatever their accountability motivation, a pertinent news story from the last month points and paints quite the conviction picture when considering the possibility that certain CIA employees are big-time narcotics dealers. World News Daily reported on October 20th, 2017, in an article titled, "Fire Damages CIA Headquarters and Reveals a Gigantic Drug Lab." Quote, "A major explosion occurred last night at the headquarters of the Central Intelligence Agency, igniting a fire which almost completely destroyed an annex of the building and led to the discovery of a suspected drug lab. More than 5 tons of drugs and 45 tons of chemicals were seized in the building, which some deputies have described as an industrial-scale drug lab." The article continues by saying there was a large explosion audible for miles around and incriminating plumes of black smoke. It took firefighters several hours to douse the flames. Fairfax County Sheriff's Office staff are looking into whether the CIA was operating a legal drug meth lab. What do you think? This happened a month ago, and no one appears to be outraged. Are you too busy binge-watching Stranger Things, both seasons? Further research finds this interesting article from July 23rd, 2015, titled "DEA Investigates Apparent Meth Lab Explosion at Federal Science Facility" by Alex Johnson, reporting for NBC News. A security guard has resigned and federal drug agents are investigating after what appears to have been a meth lab explosion on the main campus of the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, in Gaithersburg, Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C. What on earth is going on at NIST? Wacky, wacky, my fellow Americans. Folks, there's no doubt that the CIA is and has been a corrupt, covert organization. They were instrumental in the murder of JFK. They were instrumental in the takedown of the Twin Towers. It couldn't have happened without all of them participating. Where we go from here, folks? There's no one to go to. That's the sad reality. I'll attach the link. You look at it. There's a little more that I had left out. Thanks for listening.